There are two types of exchange rates: floating exchange rates and fixed exchange rates. So let's take a minute and look at each one of these. A floating or flexible exchange rate means that the exchange rate is allowed to change in response to the supply and demand for the currency. Fixed exchange rates, the government of the country doesn't let the exchange rate change due to changes in the supply and demand for the currency. Let's look at this diagram. This is how a floating or flexible rate or exchange rate works. The US dollar appreciates so it can buy more rubles. Russian goods are now less expensive, so Americans buy more of them. Importers demand more rubles, causing the ruble to appreciate. US goods are now less expensive and Russians will buy more of them. Importers now will demand more dollars, causing the dollar to appreciate. And then the US dollar will appreciate and the cycle begins all over again. It also works this way. The US dollar depreciates, buys less yuans. The Chinese goods now are more expensive and Americans buy less of them. American importers demand less yuans, causing the yuan to depreciate. US goods become more expensive and Chinese buy less of them. So Chinese importers demand less dollars, causing the US dollar to depreciate. The government of the country doesn't have to let the exchange rate change in response to supply and demand for the currency. This is known as a fixed exchange rate. A government will buy or sell its currency to keep the exchange rate at a particular point or near a particular point. Let's take a look at it. Here we have the supply and demand for euros and dollars. The dollar starts appreciating by shifting to the right, the demand for it, and the US dollar appreciates due to the increase in demand by the international community. The US government starts buying euros, causing it to appreciate. Other currencies will start to sell euros. As more countries buy euros, the demand for the dollar decreases, causing it to depreciate. And it returns to its original point. The point here is that the government manipulates the exchange rate in order to cause it to appreciate or to depreciate as it needs to achieve its trade goals. The exchange rate has a lot of problems. Fixing the exchange rate has lots of problems. If a country cannot successfully fix the exchange rate at a point at which is, then it must choose another lower exchange rate. The lowering of the exchange rate is called devaluation of the currency, and this is done by increasing the money supply. Revaluation, on the other hand, is the process of increasing a fixed exchange rate.